Once you've oriented the corners of the last layer, you want to first solve the corners using what's called a J-perm, and then you can solve the edges using a U-perm. So the J-perm goes like this. You want to put the solved corners, if there are any, on the left side, and then do R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime. Now you might encounter a case in which you don't have any corners solved, so something like this. There are no matching corners on any of the sides. So in this case, you want to just do the J-perm from any angle. And now put the solved corners on the left. Now do it again. And now you've solved the corners. Then, to solve the edges, we can use the U-perm, which goes like this. R, U, R prime, to take out this pair. U, now we do the same thing in the back. So R prime, U prime, R. We have this pair here. Now we can insert this pair back in. R, U prime, R prime. And then insert this pair like so. U, R prime, U, R. Now, to actually solve the edges, what you need is to have this block, and then the opposite sticker is always going to be either on the right or on the left of the block. You want it to be on the left. If it's not there, you can just do the algorithm with the block in front. And now the block ends up here, but if we put it back out the front, you see this has swapped, so it's now here. Now we can do it again. And now the cube is solved. After you solve the corners, you might also encounter a case where there are no blocks. If that happens, just do the U-perm. And now you will have blocks somewhere, so put that at the front and see if the opposite is here or not. Do the U-perm, and eventually the cube will be solved. You already know the U-perm where the opposite edge is on the left of the block, but there's also U-perm where the opposite edge is on the right side. So for this one, you can do R prime, U, R prime, U prime. Now do an R3, so you want to do an R2, and while you're doing another R, you can do it with these fingers, and then put your thumb here, U prime, U, R, U, R2 prime. There are two cases with the corners solved that do not have any blocks. One is called an H-perm, where you have an opposite edge on every side of the cube. For this one, we can do M2, U prime, M2, U2, M2, U prime, M2. The other case is called a Z-perm, where two sets of pieces need to swap. So we have these two edges that need to swap. You can see orange here and orange here, and then same the other way around, and the same thing on this side. Holding the edges that need to swap on the front right side, we can do M prime, U prime, M2, U prime, M2, U prime, M prime, U2, M2. Now starting off one look PLL, you already know the J-perm algorithm, but here's how you recognize the case that it solves. So we have the two matching corners, but there's an entire block together with them over here as well. And this block and this block need to swap. From here, with the big block on the left, you do the J-perm, and the cube is solved. Moving on to cases that have two corners solved, we have the two A-perms. So both these have a block and all the edges are solved, but the two solved corners on one of them are here on the left side of the block, and on the other one they are to the right of the block. So starting with the one where it's on the left side, you want to hold the block in the front left and do Ly prime, U, R prime, D2. And for this D2, you want to use your left hand and use your pinky finger and then ring finger. Or if you find it more comfortable, you can do the opposite. You can do your ring finger and then pinky. At the start, this finger trick is extremely difficult, so don't worry if this seems very hard at first. This takes a lot of practice, but just pick one of these two and then practice it a lot using this algorithm. So Ly prime u r prime d2 r u prime r prime d2 r2. And this other algorithm is just an inverse of that algorithm I just showed you. So holding the block on the left again, Ly prime r prime, or you can just think of it as x and then r2, d2 r u r prime d2 r u prime r. This is called an L perm, so it's exactly like a J perm but just mirrored. We have this big block that extends over here, and then this small block and this small block need to swap. Holding the big block on the left again, you can do Ly prime r prime f r, then f prime with your left index finger like so, r u2 r wide prime u r wide u2. These two cases are both called r perm. You have the matching corners, and then for one of these cases you have a block on the left, and then these two edges need to swap. And for the other it's the same thing but mirrored, so solved corners, block on the right, and then the edges on the left need to swap. Starting with the case that has the block on the left, holding the solved corners in front, you can do r prime u2 r prime, and now you want to do d prime with your left ring finger. So you're holding the cube with your middle finger and then pushing like so with your left ring finger. Now r u prime r prime, d with your left ring finger again, r u prime r prime u prime r. And then for the mirror, you want to put the solved corners on the left and do r u prime r prime u prime r u r prime u r prime d prime r u prime r prime d r2 u r prime. This case is called a T-perm. You have this block, this edge opposite between the two solved corners, and a block on the back as well. So we're swapping these two edges and these two corners. Holding the solved corners on the left, you want to do r u r prime u prime, r prime f, r2 u prime r prime u prime r u r prime f prime. This case is called an F perm. So you have this block here, and then this edge is opposite to it, this edge is also opposite to it, and this edge is sort of solved opposite to this. So we need to swap these two edges and these two corners. Holding the block on the left, you can do r prime u prime f prime, r u r prime u prime, r prime f r2 u prime r prime u prime r. And now we can solve this pair using u r prime u r. There are 4 cases called a G perm. So the first 2 of those 4 are where you have a block and then the 2 solved corners are close to the block, you could say. You'll see what I mean when you see the next 2 cases. And we don't really have anything else solved on the cube. So just a block, and then to the side of it you have 2 solved corners. And then same thing here is just mirrored. So the block is on the right now, and to the left of the block you have the 2 solved corners. So starting with this one where we have the block on the right and solved corners on the left, hold the solved corners on the left and do r2 u r prime u r prime u prime r u prime. Solve this block with r2, and then we can insert this corner and edge with u prime. Slide this over with d. You want to do that with your left ring finger, and then insert these 2 in the back with r prime u r, and then d prime with your left ring finger. For this other one, you want to put the block in the back, so solved corners on the left again, and do r2 prime u prime r u prime r u r prime u. And just like that other case, we want to solve this block with r2, and then we can solve this with u d prime. So now we have this empty slot here, and do r u prime r prime d. For the other 2 G perms, you have a block on the left and then on the opposite side from where the block is, you have two solved corners. And the other one, block on the right and solved corners on the opposite side from that block. So starting with the one where the block is on the left side, you want to put the solved corners on the left and do R, U, R prime, U prime, D, R2, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, U, R prime, U, R2, D prime. And then for the one where the block is on the right, you put the solved corners on the left again and do R prime, U prime, R, U, D prime, R2, U, R prime, U, R, U prime, R, U prime, R2, D. This case is called a V perm. So we have this block here, just like an A perm, except with the A perm we had solved edges, but this one you have two edges swapped, and these two corners are swapped, and there are no matching corners. So we need to swap these two corners and these two edges. Holding this block in the front left, we can do R prime, U, R prime, U prime, R, D prime, R prime, D, R prime, U, D prime. And now we want to insert this block into here. So we can do R2, U prime, R2. And now to solve it, you can do D, R2. Both of these cases are called N-perm. One of them, you have a block here, a block here, a block here. So it is all small blocks. And this one has them on the right, while this one is the exact same thing, except all the blocks are on the left side. So starting with the one where the blocks are on the right side, from any angle, because this case is symmetrical, you can do R, U, R prime, U. Now you want to do a J perm, so R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime. And now you can just solve this pair using U2, R, U prime, R prime. For the N perm with all the blocks on the left, you can do R wide prime, D prime, F, R wide, U prime, R wide prime, F prime, D, R wide 2, U, R wide prime, U prime, R wide prime, F, R wide, F prime. For this last case, we have the E perm. So all of the edges are solved, but these two corners need to swap, and these two corners need to swap. So with them facing this way, if I do the algorithm, it's going to solve it. But importantly, if I do it from this side, where they would need to swap like this, that's not going to work. It's going to give me an H perm. So to recognize which way they're facing quickly, you want to look at this sticker and then this edge next to it. And if it's matching, that's good. You're facing the right way. And same thing on this side. So this sticker is matching this sticker. But if we were to do it from this side, these stickers are opposite. So that's how you know it's wrong. So with these stickers matching, you want to do R prime, U prime, R prime, D prime, R, U prime, R prime, D, R, U, R prime, D prime. Solve this pair into here, R, U, R prime, D, R2. And just like that, you're done with PLL.